an instrument maker as such, but I've had experience over almost 50 years in transforming instruments. And basically, I came as a young kid to India at 16 years old on my own, and my aim was to come to Auroville in South India because I had heard of this utopia and the beautiful project that was connected to Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And I ended up in Auroville at that time in 1974, in the time of the dinosaurs. And I started learning Veena. And I loved the South Indian Veena, and I loved the feel of it. And I would regularly go to Trichy, Tiruchinnappally. Tiruchinnappally. And I had a mentor there. I was about 20 years old, and this wonderful gentleman by the name of Ramji, Trichy Ramji, at the foot of the Rockfort Temple. Not where they make the Rockfort cheese, but where they have the temple. So there at the bottom was this wonderful Veena maker and musicologist and very wise man who must have been about, at that time, 80 years old. And he always welcomed me, and we used to have long conversations about all sorts of aspects of microtones, gamaka, Indian music, Bhagavad Gita, Shakespeare, everything. And he was really a wonderful person to be with. And there is where I got inspired when I saw that he was adjusting the frets of the Veena to different positions. So the Veena, South Indian Veena, is made with a kind of very hard wax, and the frets are set in that wax. And so he told me that it was a regular thing when he was younger, though people didn't do it anymore. So he said, for him, younger meant the turn of the century, that they used to put their Veenas in the sun and then adjust according to the raga that they wanted to play, adjust the frets. So it stayed in my mind, and I said, okay, I cannot go on like with a normal guitar here. Let me see what I can do. And so I designed a mobile fret system. So this was already since the mid-80s, I believe, I started having this movable fret system so that I could actually tune it more specifically. So that's the first feature. And then later on was, of course, the different aspects of the instrument that came together. Well, one is that actually I would go back to the guitar and I would always feel frustrated, so the tuning is very different. So this is an open tuning. So now for those of you who are familiar with guitar, if I play an E chord, let's say, or an A chord, it will sound terrible because it will be like this. That will be the E chord. That will be the A chord. Sounds better. But anyway, so my idea was that I couldn't see myself playing Veena for the rest of my life. I loved guitar, so I said, I'm going to start transforming it, try to transform it. And therefore I did do that and slowly transformed it. So the scalloping of the frets, the tuning, then this addition of these small talam strings. So talam or chikari strings we also get. So these are very useful because they can, for South Indian music, they're good to determine the beat. So So that is one of the features, and then later on I actually, aside from these, I added the Swaramandal here. Extra strings here that are very useful for some pieces. It gives a nice feeling. They also vibrate in sympathy with the raga. And then a tampura. One of the strings is not working. I don't think that you'll chuck me out for that, but here's 3 of the strings. This was a short introduction to this raga guitar. This particular instrument here was completed about 15 years ago, and I figure that I'm slowly getting the hang of it. So thank you. This was a short introduction to the instrument. I hope you enjoyed it.